What I wanted to talk about was, call it a side effect of conferences, where you sit there, you hear things, you get excited. You talk to people, you get excited, you get ideas. I'd like to go try that, okay? Or I'd like to learn more about it. And so if you look at what are some different ways of getting started around this, one typical ways. Let me go increase my learning. So you start reading white papers or blog posts or websites. You start talking to people. Maybe you need to educate others, to start to get some momentum in your organization. You say, all right, let me write some white papers and start circulating those and in hopes of educating the execs and such. You might want to tap into, say, a vendor community and say, let me see what the options are, and you might issue some requests for information. Or you might do a project, okay? Now, all these things, there's some trade-offs, some factors to consider. For example, you come back, you've been gone a few days, you come back, you say, okay, the first thing I'm going to do when I get back is I'm going to go start, install this, start reading about this. You show up and it's like, first thing, your boss comes over and says, oh, by the way, while you were gone, okay? And you know what happens then, okay? The tyranny of the urgent starts to take over and just may make it difficult to get started. There might be some budget considerations, okay? Depending on your thoughts, your ideas, on what it is that you'd like to do, maybe you have to go get some budget to go about and do that. There may be some skills, okay? So you feel there's a need to build some skills, do that. So I'd like to just talk about, hey, here might be an option to help you get started. But first, I'd like to digress just for a moment, tell a story. I live up in Olympia, Washington, and there's one bridge that takes you from downtown Olympia to the west side of town. They'd studied it for years. They knew at some point in time they had to replace it, okay? But tyranny of the urgent, higher priorities. Let's do something about parking in town. Let's do something about building a new city hall. Yeah, okay? Well, it just lacked impetus. But in the meantime, they did study after study after study after study, okay? The study was all the same. Got to replace the bridge, okay? Well, they got the impetus on February 28th, 2001, when a 6.8 magnitude earthquake hit just outside of town, rendering the bridge unusable, okay? There's impetus, okay? The rest of the story, they had a temporary bridge in a matter of weeks. They had a permanent bridge in a little over a year, okay? So now, there's impetus. Now, I'm not recommending you hope for an earthquake or something like that. Nothing that dramatic, okay? But what might be a way you can get some impetus, okay? Perhaps we can help. One, do a project. Okay, this is what we do. We like to work with clients around emerging technologies and do a project. In doing so, identify some proof points. Now, in doing so, where we might help, if you've got time constraints, we can help there because it's a collaborative effort. If you have budget, I'll get to how we can help that. And then from a skill standpoint, there's nothing like learning while doing in order to build up some skills. A little bit about the team. We've been in place in IBM for 15 years. Small team in a large company composed of developers and architects. The model that we apply today is the model we've been applying for the last 15 years. Let's go out and identify a use case that is relevant to you, okay? And has the results you're looking for, okay? Our motivations are to incubate the technology and to see if the value proposition is really there, okay? You heard Jonathan Murray yesterday, quick time to value. This morning, I think it was Catherine was talking about from idea to production in a day. There's value, okay? Those are the kind of things we're trying to identify. What we do a workshop, we identify a use case, 8 to 10 weeks, okay? Could be more, could be less, depending on the scope. We've got a hosted environment that we use, that we'd look to use. And again, here we're looking for feedback on the hosted environment. Now, in case you're thinking, I can't believe I'm getting a sales pitch just before lunch, no charge. Okay? I mean, what we're doing here is, again, we want to incubate the technology, we want to gather feedback. There's no free lunch, right? What we want to hear is, your voice. Okay, what is it? We would like you to influence our thinking. What are your priorities from a services standpoint? Okay, what are the important workloads that you have? This morning you heard a little bit about Bluemix. We can show you more over there. But if you look down below, we've got the 6-point font. Here's some services. Some being worked, some that we are going to be working on. Help us prioritize, through your use case, okay? And we'll take it from a 6-point font, maybe to a 16-point font. Those things that you're interested in us working on with you. So if you'd like additional information, please come by, okay, and talk to us. Or if you don't, ibm.com/bluemix or jstart@us.ibm.com. Send us an email, okay? Thank you.